You're listening to iCannabisRadio.com.
I'm a little tired.
Hello, and welcome back to In the Lab with Jennifer. How are we doing, Jill?
We're doing pretty good today.
I can't hear myself, FYI. Oh, there we go. All right. And we have our special guest back from last week because we didn't feel we got all of his knowledge. Right, Jill?
Yeah.
No, I think I invited myself back because I had so much fun last time.
And hey, that's
all because
awesome.
of the music, actually.
It's all because of the music. But anyway, welcome back, Mark Stash, right? Stash?
Testa.
What?
Testa.
Oh, Testa.
I've been called worse, but Stash?
I don't
Where
even know
is Mark's
why.
stash? We should find it.
I don't know. Maybe that's your new name, Mark Stash. That'll be your radio name. Anyway, he is a chiropractor, and he was on last week when we were discussing topicals. So we'll talk to him more. And basically, this is just going to be a show to discuss some articles and catch up on stuff. And then we'll continue with probably other guests next week. But it is the last day of our contest. Woo!
Yay!
Yay! So one person and their guests are going to be able to fly out to Colorado and spend 2 nights in the Marriott downtown and go to the Cannabis Cup and
Be on the radio with us.
and be on the radio for us. I actually have the 420 slot. I don't know how I got that one, but that's awesome. We'll be on from 4 to 6 on 420, Saturday, April 20th. And just so people out there, I know this is more of a science-based show, and the Cannabis Cup is all about recreational, but we have to give it props. High Times has been around since, God, how long has High Times been around? I mean,
Longer than I have, I think.
yeah, longer than probably we have. My dad probably had a subscription to it. But anyway, this will be the very first Cannabis Cup in the United States.
Yay.
So we've had the medical Cannabis Cup for the last 2 years, and now we'll have the first adult use Cannabis Cup, if you will. So we will have, it's going to be a huge event. It's already sold out. I think they've sold 13,000 tickets.
Wow.
Have you been in that venue?
1974 is when so I was 4 years old.
That venue's tiny. It is going to be insanity.
It's going to be insanity, but you know what? And they just keep getting better, though. Like, the first cup was okay, but last year was a ball.
I just hope it's not as hot it was last year.
Well, regardless, it's going to be phenomenal. I know that I'm getting calls from all over talking about it, and it will be for 2 days, Saturday and Sunday, and there's going to be 200 booths there. And it's a cup
Freebies.
to kind of,
Yay.
It's a cup to
Swag.
show off your stuff and get some swag and meet the people in the industry here in Colorado. So it's very exciting. I'm actually going to be testing the edibles and the flowers for the competition, which will be exciting. As we've talked about a ton on this show, how much potency has gone up for decades now, but also we'll see some high strains of CBD, which is very, very exciting too.
Is there a category for that this year?
I do believe there will be. Yeah, I'm not sure though. I have to. Maybe I'll do some research while we're
I
chatting.
think there was last year.
I thought so, or we're getting it confused with the THC cup because they did have. Anyway, so we will be there broadcasting live iCannabis Radio from, I believe, noon until 8 or noon until something like that on Saturday. And again, Jill and I have the 4 to 6 slot. Please come by, say hi to us. We'd love to give some shout outs to people in different states and answer people's questions. But really, it is a good time, and whether it's medicinal or recreational, it's going to be a very good time.
Even scientists and patients deserve to have a good time once in a while.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And I do believe there's going to be some other labs there. So maybe the workshop from California, maybe Howland, I don't know, but hopefully they'll come by and say hello to us on the radio. Also, I wanted to talk about our new, I don't know if you'd call it partnership, but we're working with Weed Maps now. Weedmaps.com is basically your cannabis locator. It's been around for almost 3 years, and it gives you all of the locations, and it's real time if the dispensary is keeping up on all of their information. And now you will be able to see test results for our clients in Colorado, which is very exciting. SC Labs services Weed Maps in California, and now Colorado will be able to list their test results. So it's very exciting. We just kicked that off, so we're working out some bugs. But right now, the clinic has their test results listed. Medicine Man, soon to be Greenworks, and we'll go from there. So that's very exciting. And
Are you going to be able to search by
test results?
Test results,
Yes.
strains?
Yep.
That would be cool.
Yes. So there'll be a filter that you can go on and say lab results, and it'll only pull up the dispensaries that have test results, which is huge because if I'm a consumer and I'm going to shop and I see 2 dispensaries in the area and one has test results and one doesn't, probably going to go to the one with the test results. Because if they're spending money for test results, they're probably also doing a lot better care for their plants and everything like that.
And it's not a lot of money to test, right?
No, it's not a lot of money to test. It
Do
really
they do
isn't.
any ratings or reviews of any sort?
They do. And what's great about the website, honestly, why it's worked so well, is they do not take comments off or anything. I mean, when you go on there and you see people's comments, those are true comments, good and bad. So anyway, but so the list test results, which is great. And then I also wanted to talk about something else that, oh my God, I had to pinch myself. But Sanjay Gupta from CNN was in Can Labs.
Yay.
Lucky duck.
It was so exciting. I have a couple of pictures of my business partner and I with Sanjay Gupta and then them filming. It was pretty cool. But how that happened was I got a call from CNN, a senior producer for Sanjay Gupta, and she said, you know, we want to do a real story on cannabis. And it seems like there's a lot of misinformation out there. You know, we'd like to talk to you about that. So I started talking to them, and quickly she found out about the Dravet kids and the kids with seizure disorders, because I talk about that nonstop. It's very dear to my heart, and it's one of the things that keeps me going because this industry is so hard. So she said, you're kidding me. And so I forwarded over the video. And for you guys that's never seen it, go to YouTube and type in Charlotte's
Journey?
Web, or
Is it-
Charlotte's Web and Zakai, Zaki's Journey. And it'll pop right up. And it's a video about 2 kids that have seizure disorders, one Dravet and one Dozer, I think, or Doozer. I can't. Dozier. And it will bring tears to your eyes. So anyway, so they decided to do the main story on that and then come to my lab, which was just fine. They went out and visited in dispensary of the Realm of Caring's Grow, which is fascinating. And then they came to my lab. So that was very exciting. Sanjay Gupta is such a sweet man, and I look forward to seeing that. I think it's airing in summer of beginning of summer, but I'm not sure. But I'll figure out the date with
So
that.
what do you think they were most surprised to find out or interested in?
Honestly, I think everything. So they had him, 2 camera people, one from LA, one from Atlanta, I want to say. No, one from LA and one from New York. And then the lady that was there, and maybe she was a producer, she was from Atlanta. And
Jen remembers where everybody's from.
I normally don't, but I was very interested, like, does the camera crew all come from wherever, And so they were, they just couldn't believe it. I mean, their mouths were already to the ground when they got to me because they got to see the kids and everything. Oh, and I am Bill, who is Chaz, who is a 14, I think. He's 14. And he lives in Colorado Springs, and he has is it muscular dystrophy?
No, he has, I cannot remember what it is, but it's a very rare syndrome, like where his esophagus refluxes consistently, and so I don't remember.
And
what
very
it's called.
painful, right? So it's from the waist to the neck, okay? And evidently, the producer lady was telling me this. Sanjay Gupta was riding around in the car with him. It was kind of like a day in the life. And he started going like that, or seizing, or whatever it is. I'm so sorry, I don't know the correct terminology. Lifted up his shirt, and they could see it, and it was crazy. And he took 2 hits off a vaporizer, and it immediately stopped. And to see that firsthand, that's where people are like, wow.
Now.
He's 18 now, but it
16.
started.
Yeah.
And, the sad part about that is his parents were awesome. They tried to be proactive. They called the school, told the school, and then the school decided to kick him out. So they had to fight that. So they let him come back to school, but he can't medicate there. Even if it's candy and no one knows. He has to drive home.
And then he can't come back. Once he goes home and medicates, he can't.
Oh, really? So once he goes home, he can't come back to school, which is ludicrous. So, should the parents, hindsight, not said anything, and then he just takes candy at school? I mean, it just makes me sick to my stomach. But anyway, Sanjay Gupta got to see that. I guess his episodes happened a couple of times. So he could see like how cannabis just immediately stopped it in its tracks. So that's very exciting. I think once this airs on CNN, I think a lot is going to start happening. I really do.
He's been on the Hemp Connoisseur.
Who was?
Chaz and his dad.
Oh, yes. Okay, so Chaz and his dad has been on the Hemp Connoisseur radio show, which you can look on iCannabisRadio.com and go to their show.
Recorded shows.
Their recorded shows. And check that out for yourself. But that was very exciting, and I'm just so happy that they're opening up. Somebody like CNN is opening up to this and really trying to get the real story. It's gigantic.
And you sense that was they were looking for the real story. They weren't looking to sensationalize this. Good.
No.
That's great.
Not at all. And actually, when she called me, I was very upfront about it. I'm like, if you want any pot culture or anything like that, I'm sorry, but that's, you can call somebody else for that. And she's like, no, actually, we really that's why we called a lab, is because we, wanted some other details about it. So very fascinating. But anyway, so today is the last day of our contest. At the end of the show, Jill will come up with 3 more questions, and then it's literally the first people to email. Where are we having it? Are they emailing me?
Yeah, Jennifer at canlabs.com.
Okay. So the first people that emailed Jennifer at canlabs.com, Gen, first person, with the right answer.
All the right answers.
All the right answers. God, can you just do it, please? Clearly I'm...
No, yeah, I'm going to post this on Facebook. It will probably be too long to even get it up on the website, but go to Facebook, iCannabis Radio, and check under the events. It's posted as an event. All the instructions are there. I will get the last 3 questions up there this afternoon after the show. And like Jennifer said, first person who sends in all the right answers or really, really, really close.
Right.
Gets it, and we will let you know so you can start making travel plans, and hopefully you can be on the show next Monday to tell us how excited you are.
Yes.
And we are definitely looking forward to it.
Yes, that'll be exciting. We want to, if it is somebody, and hopefully it is somebody outside of Colorado, again, 2 airline tickets, 2 hotel.
Airline credit.
Airline credit, sorry. Hotel, and then 2 tickets to the event. And you'll know by hopefully close tonight or tomorrow. Probably tomorrow. Yeah. And God, what else was I going to talk about? And so much is going on here. April 20th. I mean, We have Castleman's with a couple of huge bands. And then we have Red Rocks. We have Cervantes. If you are in
Fillmore,
everywhere. And I'm told that we're going to break, and then we'll be back.
Blue Sage Microbes unveils the ultimate in superior soil, Ideal Soil, a 16-quart bag of the best growing soil ever engineered. Superior plant health and vitality is a direct result of the structure and chemistry of your soil. How good is your growing soil? Is your growing soil really balanced? How do you know? Well, Blue Sage Microbes has a newly designed growing soil that is the most advanced growing medium ever offered for cannabis cultivation. This is the only brand in the marketplace that provides growers with an ideal soil structure designed to work specifically with their cultivation systems. You will have your best grow results ever. Call now for a special introductory offer, 888-959-8551, or log on to bluesagemicrobes.com and experience a new level in growing. That's 888-959-8551.
iVita Wellness is committed to compassionate patient care while providing the highest quality medicine at an affordable price. At iVita Wellness, patients can get top shelf ounces for $150 every day. iVita Wellness also carries pharmaceutical grade pure CO2 oil. iVita Wellness is located in Uptown Denver on 1616 Pearl Street, open 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. You can reach us at 303-952-9150 or our website at www.ivitawellness.com. iVita Wellness is Denver's compassionate care center.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
All right. Well, anyway, if you did not get tickets to Cannabis Cup, I'm so sorry because it is sold out. So unless you can find or win, also all the hotels are booked. I mean, it's pretty crazy. But if you're in Colorado, there'll be a ton of stuff to do. But I think most of it's sold out already.
Well, that's one of the interesting things. Our good friend Betty is Assistant Executive Director of NCIA, which is the National Cannabis Industry Association. Mm-hmm. She was the face of Amendment 64, the spokesperson. She rocks.
Yes, she does.
She's getting all these calls about Cannabis Cup and the culture, and they're turning it over and saying, no, this is a convention coming to town, and we are estimating this much money is going to be spent. It'll be really interesting to see how much is spent. Like,
yes.
How much is spent when the beer festival comes to town? Like,
a lot.
We need to start changing the tone of look at all these stupid stoners and be like, look at how much food they buy.
Exactly. And all the hotels. I mean, when I booked this hotel, Jill, I was freaking out. This was like a month and a half ago, and there was no hotels left. Like, none. So I guarantee this, and I would love if we can figure out how many dollars this is going to bring to Denver. So
the Great American Beer Fest brings in $3 million in sales. It says
we don't
here,
have sales.
But yeah, let's see if it's.
Well, we do have sales. That's the case. Oh, but that's high times.
Well, we don't have sales of.
So it'll be hotel, entertainment, food.
I wonder how many DUIs
drinks, taxes
are given.
Yes, and please do not drive.
Oh,
yeah. Right. But anyway, please do not drive. There's plenty of
light rail goes right by there.
Yes.
It's like a half a block away.
Yes, light rail goes right by there. Anyone staying in downtown, you can get taxis. You do not want to drive.
You don't want to park
20th at all. Yeah, you don't.
You don't even want to try to park.
I'm going to probably ride my bike.
I'm not from Louisville, but
yeah, no.
Have fun. I'll drive to the light rail station.
Oh my God. So, what else exciting news? So the joint, after the task force met, all the rules went to a select joint committee with House members and Senate members. That's been meeting since March 1st. It was supposed to wrap up last week, and they extended it a week. So that's in process. Hopefully that committee will be voting on everything by Friday, right? And then where does it go?
Well, Thursday's the next meeting, and the reason they extended it the week was to spank MMED for an audit that came out of their
That's right.
Unfortunate audit. Perfect timing. I wonder if that was planned.
You think?
But, I mean, this audit report, it did show some excessive spending, but essentially the way I analyze it is it was a legislative failure to not be able to recoup temporary licensing fees from operators and saying they couldn't collect fees until they were licensed. And licensing for many reasons, including some of Med, some of the locals, other reasons, it was delayed much longer than anticipated, so they had no revenue coming in. And that's essentially what happened. So the legislature in Amendment 64 legislation realized that error, and Med pointed it out, and so it says that they will be able to collect temporary operating fees from people prior to licensing, so that does not happen again. But so anyways, Med has to come back on Thursday and explain in better detail what went wrong and how they're going to fix it. And then, it's kind of political theater. And then they should be done by Thursday. They voted on a bunch more stuff today.
How many did they have again to vote on? Like 60-something? Or 50-something?
No,
I can't
I'll
remember.
have to look it up. But it's like, I thought 25. But
I will be so happy when May is over, so we can get this rolling. I also forgot to say something, too, as far as 420 is concerned. So Denver Relief Dispensary, First and Broadway, they have what's called the Green Team. And it is a
community grassroots volunteer group.
So they fix bikes and they do a whole bunch of stuff. And this is their 4th annual Green Team 420 cleanup. Okay, so it starts at 9 a.m. at Wild Eggs. So Wild Eggs is at Logan and Alameda. It's an awesome, awesome breakfast place, and they offer literally smokin' hash for $4.20, and it's normally like $10. It's awesome. So you start there. Actually, I took my company there last year. And then at 1:30, you meet to clean up. You go down to City Center Park and you clean up. And it's awesome. And then at 4:19, they have you meet back for prizes and celebration. And any more information, you can either look up Green Team on Facebook or EANSEEB, ENC. If you look them up on Facebook, you can get information on that. Or call Denver Relief Direct. They have a lot of great sponsors, and if I didn't have to be on the air at the Cannabis Cup, I would be definitely helping them out with this. But it's a great way to pay back the community.
I've done it. It's lots of fun.
Oh,
yes.
That's awesome. That's great. So I just
and
wanted to throw that in.
all kinds of free food involved. So
free food. Hello.
Yes, you get the sexy pizza after.
Oh, that's right. Sexy pizza. Sexy pizza is some of my favorite pizza. And
they donate $1 from every. They have 3 special pizzas, and one is for Students for Sensible Drug Policy, one is for Sensible Colorado, and one is for Safer. So if you order that pizza, they donate $1, which is cool.
That's awesome. So reach out to your sexy pizza place. Plus, oh my God, you can get a large pizza delivered. I think for like $13.99, and it's gigantic. And I think it's any pizza. So like you can get with,
the one with the cream cheese and jalapenos, the SSDP pie. Oh, that is good.
Yeah, I'm more traditional pizza. No chicken, no white sauce. That has no business being on a pizza.
Thank you.
No
pineapple.
Yeah, it's like stay
Hawaiian's
away.
Classic.
Classic.
Hawaiian classic.
Hawaiian is classic. I worked in pizza places my whole high school career.
Oh my God.
Did you hear about the bacon mouthwash? We're totally off topic.
Okay, that's disgusting.
Jennifer just showed me this picture of a bacon wrapped turkey. And I saw this morning on the news that Scope just introduced a new mouthwash. And maybe it's an April Fool's Day joke.
I really
I'm
hope
not
so,
sure.
because that's freaking
But it's
disgusting.
bacon-flavored mouthwash.
Really?
Love bacon.
It's for breath
Yeah, but
that
not
sizzles.
for mouthwash. Disgusting. Oh. Bacon, bacon, bacon. bacon.
Bacon's the gateway meat for vegetarians once they have
gateway.
It's
Okay,
so easy
I'm a
to pick up a little
vegetarian,
strip.
and bacon is the last. Steak is the gateway because you cannot fake steak.
I had a patient whose son was vegetarian, and he came home, picked him up, came home. They're like questioning him because he looked guilty, right? 11 years old, looked guilty. And he confesses, Dad, I had bacon, and I loved it. It was great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cute.
Bacon is
Bacon, I have to say it is. It's very good. But then I saw something posted on Facebook about the meat thing. Oh my God, it was so gross. It showed how hot dogs and stuff are made.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I don't know how they make it taste so good. I mean, a hot dog's good stuff. But, ugh. I mean, I don't eat meat, but I'm just saying, back in the day when I did, hot dogs were yum yum.
especially at the baseball field.
Look at that. Did you see that?
No.
Dude, it's gnarly.
Yeah.
Somebody told me
Well,
if you
Burger
went to a
King
slaughterhouse,
just got
you'd never eat meat
busted
again.
in London with horse meat in their
Oh.
beef, which, frankly, I mean, we've just kind of determined which animals are okay to eat and which ones aren't. So, but still, I mean, you want to know what's in your meat.
You're right.
Oh, horse.
So, yes. Horse. And in some cultures, horse meat is more expensive than cow meat, and it's, people say it's very, very good.
We're getting out of control with the meat thing. I'm sorry.
Sugar.
Oh,
I'm worried
sugar,
about
too.
Sugar. I love sugar.
Okay, so we talked about the cannabis cup. And again, our sponsors for that are Blue Sage Microbes, which are fantastic soil, and a couple other growing. Hey, yeah, has Mike started using those yet? Blue
No,
Sage?
not yet.
Okay. So we'll be able to tell you exactly how the Blue Sage Microbes works. And then the clinic is sponsoring the hotel room, and then Atmos is sponsoring the 2 tickets to the Cannabis Cup. And Atmos is a personal vape that you can put in flower or concentrates, which is pretty neat. Matt actually was on our extraction show, if you wanted to go back and hear about that a few weeks ago. He was on there.
Have to answer the question.
That's true. You're going to have to answer the questions. So, all right, Jill, what do we got?
Well, I was actually going to do, how close are we to break? 3 minutes. Okay. I wanted Mark on too, because Mark's the guy who I call when I'm reading a study and it's all medical mumbo jumbo to be like, what does this mean? But when I started looking at things, I found this great blog post. It's a paper written by Lester Grinspoon, who is one of the preeminent doctors and researchers in the field of cannabinoid medicine. And I thought that maybe we should actually start at the beginning and talk a little bit about the history of medical cannabis and then why research is so difficult to do in this area. And this blog post actually appeared on ASA's blog, Americans for Safe Access, on March 14th. But it is about a 6,000-word paper by Dr. Grinspoon. But it's just so, he has thought about this so much. And so he gives the entire background history of everything. So I wanted to kind of delve into it and basically have story time and just kind of talk about how we got to the present day situation where research is so limited. And Dr. Grinspoon is a psychiatrist. He's in his 80s now. He has been working on medical cannabis research for years and years and years. He was at Harvard and then the Massachusetts Mental Health Center. He was the head of the American Psychiatric Association. He is the one who first started using lithium in the treatment of bipolar. So he is well-educated, well-known. His son was actually a patient of ours. So I have great affinity for Dr. Grinspoon. So I think we'll go to break before we start, but I'm just going to we're going to review how medical cannabis got where it is now.
Great. Sounds good. Off to a break. Thanks.
Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 for all your insurance needs. Canisher understands the risks you face each day, and we are there to protect your business and your investment. Since 2010, Canisher has been serving the cannabis industry nationwide. Call Canisher at 1-800-420-5757 or visit us on the web at canisher.com to learn more about our insurance and risk management services. Proud member of the NCIA.
Cannapunch is a delicious and effective medical marijuana beverage proudly made right here in Colorado. Each bottle is freshly infused with 100% pure flower extract from the highest grade marijuana plants available today. Using proprietary extraction methods, every bottle of Cannapunch is consistently and reliably infused with an exact milligram dosage that you can count on to relieve your symptoms each and every time. Cannapunch is delicious. There's never any medicine-y taste. We use only 100% cannabis flowers. No trim or byproducts are ever used in Cannapunch. It does not require refrigeration and comes in convenient, resealable multi-dose bottles from 60 milligrams to 200 milligrams. We have drinks with dosage that works best for you. Cannapunch is available in a variety of delicious flavors like black cherry, watermelon, pineapple mango, and blue raspberry. And we now have strain-specific beverages available just for you. Cannapunch is delicious, convenient, consistent, and effective. Give it a try and experience the Cannapunch difference.
All right. Huey Lewis in the news, right? Is that Huey Lewis in the news? That's what I thought. All right, Jill.
All right, so story time, and this is, the vast majority is totally plagiarized. So it is from that blog post, as I mentioned, on ACE's website, March 14th. So a little bit about the history of Dr. Grinspoon has tried to coin this cannabinopathic medicine. I like to say cannabis medicine because it's lots easier. So I'm going to go with that. So cannabis is actually native to Central Asia. It's been cultivated as long as 10,000 years ago. It was most definitely cultivated in China by 4000 BC. And the first actual written evidence of the medicinal use of cannabis as an herbal medicine was published over 5,000 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so we've been using it for a very long time, but this is the best part. It was recommended for malaria, constipation, rheumatic pains, absent-mindedness.
Really?
Yes. So
interesting.
The people who have ADD and say that smoking helps them.
Sure, that's why. But constipation, let's run through that.
Mark, got anything there?
I'm digging.
I would recommend coffee for that.
Well,
myself,
for me, in the morning, instead of coffee, I would use cannabis, and I gotta go to the bathroom like right after.
Really?
Or sometimes
is it a
dabs.
diuretic?
So this is
I have not read of it as a diuretic.
It's not diuretic.
This is Sam. He's another producer, and he's joining us for our next segment. Hi, Sam.
Hi.
Yeah, Any
I know
questions?
smoking tobacco too
is a diuretic.
Right. So I'm just wondering.
Diuretic? Not diuretic.
Not diuretic,
Not
but it makes
diuretic.
you go
word.
potty.
Cholerogenic.
Cholerogenic. Okay.
Wow, that's proper.
So what's a diuretic?
Diuretic makes you go to the bathroom. Urinate.
Oh,
Urinate.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. So
1
I've been
and
using that
2,
wrong
Jill.
for years.
Pee and poop. 1 and 2.
But it was also prescribed for or recommended for female disorders, and all of us females know that
Cramps.
that works.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right.
Attitude.
Cramp.
Cramps.
Better you say it than me.
Hey, it's a fact.
Yes, it is a fact.
And do you know one time I saw, it was, I don't remember what kind of show, but it was about transgender or transvestites when they take the hormones and they go from male to female. And they testified on it that, wow, we really understand what women go through. Like, there is definitely change. I'm like, yeah, we're not just well, we're nuts too. But
Some of us hide it better than other ones.
Some of us hide it better, yes. But I see how cannabis can immediately work for that, for sure.
Oh, it doesn't even have to be female-oriented, just a bad mood.
Well, true, but I mean for your cramps.
Yes.
Yeah.
So anyways, the use evolved through time. They were using hemp let's see, this one was cool. A mixture of hemp resin and wine as in for during surgery and during childbirth. And
Hemp residue and wine.
Hemp resin
So hemp
and wine.
for the CBD, right? I'm just trying to get my head wrapped around it, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
just basically to make surgery since they didn't have
right. But that was the
anesthetics.
CBD.
Yeah.
Right.
So talking about hemp roots for skin inflammation, and the use just grew and grew and grew. And so he says that in the West, though, cannabis didn't really come into its own as a medicine until the mid-19th century, and this was first introduced by a physician named W.B. O'Shaughnessy. And if any of you are research geeks like me, you'll have heard of O'Shaughnessy's, which is a great, now I think solely online publication to get dedicated to research. But he had observed its use in India and came back as a proponent. So one person can make a huge difference. O'Shaughnessy also believed in cannabis for animals, which we're starting to see more and more stories about. And
Absolutely.
I personally have treated my dog with cannabis, and she enjoyed it. So let's see. O'Shaughnessy called it an anti-convulsive remedy, and this is when we were talking about Gervais and Chas Moore. He said it was a remedy of the greatest value. So they knew way back in the 1800s that this was an amazing herb. So, and then he talks about the decline in the usage of cannabis indica, and a lot of us think it's because of the Marijuana Act of 1937, but he goes on to talk about it was actually a neglect of research. Even way back then, before we had NIDA hoarding the supply, people weren't researching with it as much because they had introduced opiates. And when the hypodermic syringe was invented in the 1850s, it allowed for soluble drugs to be dosed much more consistently and readily than marijuana could. And they weren't smoking marijuana at this time. So most people were using pastes and resins and oils. And so when they discovered opiates and could inject them, they now had a very consistent dosage. And so they started to cut back on the use of marijuana. And it wasn't until... Wait, this part's good. I underlined a bunch of stuff. So it says the two most common symptoms for which cannabis indica was prescribed back in the 1850s were pain and insomnia. And now physicians could now prescribe easy-to-take pills with known potency for these two problems, which quickened the decline of cannabis as a medicine. But these new drugs had striking disadvantages. More than 1,000 people die from aspirin-induced bleeding each year in the United States.
Wow.
Cannabis kills none. And barbiturates are, of course, far more dangerous.
Sure.
So then he goes on to talk about the Marijuana Tax Act of 1937, which we talked about on the hemp show, which made it then, impossible to use this as medicine. So the concept of marijuana at that point, after 1937, virtually disappeared from medicine completely. But then he says, this is funny, in the 60s, as large numbers of people began to use marijuana recreationally, claims of its medical utility began to appear, not in medical literature, but in the form of letters to popular magazines like Playboy. Typically, these accounts were written by surprised and excited recreational users who had serendipitously discovered that marijuana relieved one or another variety of symptoms and syndromes. And we see this, and we talk about this now. I mean, the difference between medical cannabis and recreational cannabis and how people use it for both interchangeably. And they're not necessarily separate. But this recreational use led to people saying, hey, this has medicinal use. And then with the advent of the AIDS epidemic and the discovery of marijuana's ability to reduce nausea, people really started to put public pressure on using marijuana as medicine. And he also talks about how at this point when people were using it recreationally, they were smoking it.
Right.
And all of a sudden it became where the patient could self-dose. And the onset instead of taking an hour for a oral or a topical to work, the onset is immediate. And so doctors started to get, and they're certainly not all comfortable, but more and more like, okay, well, the patient can at least dose themselves. And so as we hear the discussion about medical versus recreational, I'm consistently hearing, well, people really shouldn't be smoking it. And treating cancer patients, AIDS patients, that quick onset is so important.
Yes,
and when
it is.
The only research out there that says it causes pulmonary dysfunction, I mean, there is, Mark, have you read about this lately? I mean, that study came out recently that said smoking does not lead to lung cancer, nor does it lead to a significant pulmonary effect.
I did read that, and it was a pretty large group of people as well.
Smoking cannabis.
Right.
Right.
Right. So when people say, oh, well, sick people shouldn't be smoking cannabis, it's not necessarily true. And with a, invention of vaporizers, you now have this other option. But I also know, as a smoker myself, sometimes the vaporizer doesn't get it all. It just doesn't have that same
I have heard that, though.
impact.
I have definitely heard
It could be
that.
subjective or
Right.
wrong
Right.
or placebo effect, but I'll tell you, if you've got a volcano, the terpene flavoring in that, when you can set, and the volcano is the only vaporizer that's actually listed as a medical device. And so I used to say, oh, volcano, I'm not paying $600. And then Mike and I went up to British Columbia 5 years ago, and they have vapor lounges there. So we rented a volcano, and I was like, holy crap, this thing rocks. So
I've never done the volcano, but I wanted to go back real quick when you said recreational led to medicinal. Well, isn't that what happens with drugs? So that's what happened with Viagra, right? They were testing that drug for something totally different. And then they found out it gave men erections. And so, I mean, that's penicillin. Most all drugs start out or are used for something else. And then they see that it also does something else or whatever. So, I mean, that's definitely not uncommon.
And it goes the other way too, right? Medicinal, pharmaceutical drugs go from medicine to recreational.
Exactly right.
Narcotics,
Smoking,
Viagra.
OxyContin, for example.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
smoking OxyContin?
Oh, yeah. You shoot it, you smoke it, they smoke it. Oh, yeah. I've watched Intervention. It's scary. It is so scary.
Yeah, no thanks. My kids are too young for me to
I'm
watch
telling
that
you,
right
you
now.
know what? And that's the best thing you can show your kids. This is what drugs do to you. And then show them Intervention because it's really scary. But anyway, that's what my mom did to me. She showed me all the scary shows. She took me to a drug rehab, and it worked. I can tell you that right now.
So he talks about, again, the change in route of administration, which is the way you actually take a drug. Going from topical or oral to smoking greatly enhanced its usefulness as a medicine, which seems contradictory, but it's not, because it solved the problem of providing the correct dose. And because in the early 19th century there were no reliable bioassays, I mean, doctors just didn't know what to prescribe, and if people smoked or ingested too much, they would have anxiety. So he talks about that. We're really getting out of time. But it wasn't really until the 1972 when NORML became involved and people started fighting for the use. And back in 1972, people thought that they were going to legalize cannabis, and there was the Nixon Commission, and there was a huge movement, which is why people watching recently have said, oh, people who are old enough, this is the 70s all over again. But it happened in Washington and Colorado. So
Okay, and before we go to break real quick, I want to tell you that since the drug war or the what is the Nixon campaign?
Well,
What's it called,
the
though?
commission was the
No, but in
Schaefer
Nixon,
Commission?
In Nixican. In the 70s, Nixon started the war on drugs.
Well,
right?
actually, that was started by Reagan. Nixon had, I think it was called the Schaefer Commission. I think you're right.
Well, whatever.
Where they did this big study and they said you should legalize it, and that was not the answer they wanted.
No, I'm
to
talking
hear.
about how they started the campaign, the war on drugs,
that
around
was,
the 70s.
That was Reagan.
We've spent $1 trillion on that. Can you imagine what $1 trillion would look like if we did research on cannabis?
We could have paid for the war.
No,
not that we should have.
No. Just the
in
research we've
I
done
know.
on cannabis. I mean, we'd be a lot further along with medicine today. And we got to go to break. Sorry. Bye.
Tired of dispensary hopping? Trying to find quality meds? Look no further and get to know Greenworks. Our shops are stocked with over 20 strains of organically grown meds, including R4, the highest tested CBD strain in Colorado. Yes, we back up our quality with testing. While Greenworks offers only the highest quality meds, we don't believe in high prices, with eighths ranging from $20 to $40 and ounces capped at $175. With 2 centers in Denver and 1 in Glenwood Springs, we're likely closer than you think. Call 303-647-5210 to find the location nearest you.
The chocolatiers at Incredibles are dedicated to crafting the finest chocolate from high-quality ingredients to ensure the greatest possible medicated edibles in the world. Consistency and quality are top priority. Lab testing on each and every batch. Rick and Josh have been making non-medicated chocolates for years for such retail outlets as Whole Foods and Vitamin Cottage. Today, we are focused on crafting our award-winning medicated incredible chocolate bars. We are professional bakers, and we believe food should be made from scratch. We guarantee your satisfaction. Have an incredible day.
I'm Gary Johnson, and you're listening to iCannabis Radio, and I want to say, talk it up, Colorado.
Sorry to cut you off there.
Oh, that's all right. And actually, we don't even have nearly enough time.
We'll get to the goodies because then I want to talk about our sponsors.
Yeah, well, and I want Mert to talk
15?
a little bit.
Well, you know, part of this too started in the 30s with the Fleckner reports, and that they were medicine in the late 1800s was like charlatanism. It was like quackery. The physicians were low on the totem pole, and in order for them to move up the totem pole, they made getting into medical school difficult, getting a license difficult. They've developed their own vocabulary, right?
Really?
Yes. This was all part of the great scheme to move physicians into a role of elitism, basically.
Interesting.
To
I
move
had no
them
idea.
out of this sort of like, you know, you're the farm doctor, you're the house call guy, you're not really trained in anything, you're sort of using herbs. And hygiene and nutrition, you know, chiropractic and osteopathy started in 1895 out of that theory. And so to move up, you know, they didn't want to use, they wanted drugs, they wanted surgery, they wanted things that put them a step above the patients that they were treating. So it's no surprise that herbs, whether it's echinacea or marijuana, was shoved to the back burner in lieu of, hey, we got a pharmaceutical here that now is an opiate that we can inject or
that you can't get without me.
That you cannot get without me,
right?
exactly. And
Now,
it created an economy for
that's
them.
very interesting. And, you know, we can bash doctors, but of course, you know, these medicines have gotten us further, I guess. I'm not sure. But what I do know is they are doctors of medicine. I mean, it is the way it's set up now. And they have, a semester of nutrition, their first year of medical school, if that. Like, they don't know. But what I do know is when you get a deadly disease, guess what they start telling you? Oh, go see a nutritionist. Stop eating meat. Get organic vegetables. You know what I mean? It's like everybody I've talked to that got cancer, that's exactly what their doctor says. So why don't we try to do a little prevention? But of course that doesn't exist in the
And
United
that doesn't
States.
make anybody any money.
Wait till it's broke and then fix it. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's the way it is here. And again, we come back to, I mentioned it last week, personal responsibility.
Absolutely. And that's the bottom line. You have to do your own research. Like, I went to the doctor finally. I was sick for 2 weeks, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I think it's a sinus infection. Yeah, I go in. Yeah, I think it's a sinus infection. Oh, you have a sinus infection. You know? It's like I already did all the due diligence before I went in because, honestly, I mean, you really have to do your own healthcare and stuff. You really do.
And it's easy nowadays with the internet. You can search all kinds of different things.
But everything is not true on the internet.
Everything is not true. But I tell you what, I'm on PubMed.com, U.S. Library of
PubMed
Medicine,
is,
National Institutes of Health.
Yes.
If you type medical marijuana in there, it'll bring up about 3,000 different reviews.
Now, I can't get, right, you have to pay to be on PubMed, right?
No, you can get the abstracts.
Oh, okay. You
get
just can't get the full
Some are
papers.
free, but you cannot get. I can get them for you though.
That's great to know, because Chris was my last chemist was a big fan of PubMed, and you know it's very important that we do all this due diligence and ask questions. Never think that it's a stupid question, because guess what? I mean, maybe your doctor hasn't thought of it. I mean, for God's sakes, they're cutting off people's wrong arms and breasts and legs.
Well,
I mean,
even just keeping up with medical marijuana, I have Google alerts for cannabis, marijuana, there's Facebook, and that's just one single topic. You know, general physicians have to study the entire body. There's so much that comes out. You look at PubMed.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't expect them to know everything. And a good physician, if you bring them an abstract, they'll say, well, let me look into that for you if you're lucky.
Right.
But it's, and they're forced by their insurance companies to push so many patients through, and it's just the quality of medicine care has gone down, which is why you should see Mark. So do you want to tell us a little bit about your practice, though, Mark, and your philosophy? And
So I've been practicing chiropractic and acupuncture for almost 23 years this year, which I'm not even old enough, but for it to be that long.
Yes, you are.
I've always had a very holistic viewpoint. I've always been into teaching people what they can do for themselves. So I do typically short-term visits, heavy intense on education, intense on multiple treatment modalities at the same time: acupuncture, cupping, manipulation, nutrition, exercise. Because at the end of the day, you're only with me a half an hour of the day. You need to take care of yourself. And so I believe in this is the way I practice: short-term care. Come when you need it. I'll take care of you when you need it. I'm going to teach you what you need to do, to not need my services. But if you do, then come to me. But the big thing that I've been able to do is communicate with physicians, and have opened up a lot of doors for people through their physicians by explaining what I do and how I can be part of their team and how I can help them. And I feel good about that. Otherwise, I got out of school in 1990, and we were still sort of, no one wanted to work with us. And that's starting to change now. And so by communicating with doctors, I've been able to help, I think, more people that way.
well, and I think you hit the nail on the head. It's team.
It is team.
It's just not your doctor. It's just not your massage therapist, And that's what I wish they'd have, for insurance. I pay $175 a month, and I wish that included either discounts or something off massage and chiropractic. I mean, that is what prevents you. I mean, we see that as a treat, which is sad, when it should be seen as preventative medicine, because you do need to do all that. I mean, especially when we sit, a lot of us sit for 8 to 12 hours a day. It's terrible for your body.
Yeah. And you're right, and movement needs to happen, and it would be nice. And I've seen some networks that tried to put together discount plans along with the insurance, but for some reason, they want to pay me $19, and nobody can really work for that much.
No way,
kind of
and nor should you have to after all the schooling and everything else like that. I mean, you can't do it, and that's why I'm scared of the future, because who wants to go to med school when med school's tuition and everything is going up and doctors are getting paid less?
Right.
So at the end of the day, most people are probably going to be physician assistant. No responsibility, but no malpractice insurance. I mean, that's what I would have done if I wanted to be a doctor now. I would just go to PA.
I recommend PA to a lot of people that want to get into it. There was just some reports out that more and more physicians want to sell their practice and become employed physicians because they don't want to deal with it anymore. Yeah, they don't want to deal with it. And there was just something I read today that 66% of physicians have a very pessimistic outlook on the future of healthcare in America. And I mean, really, it probably comes as no surprise.
Well, that's why cannabis is coming just in time and to spread the word, because it could be helping a lot of people that are sick. And, not that, people still will need pharmaceuticals as well, I'm sure, but at least they'll have a choice. And this is what this is all about. This isn't us shoving cannabis down your throat. This is about giving people education so they can make a choice and squash this 80 years of, propaganda that has been cursed down on cannabis.
And you hit the nail on the head with education, because while we look at research on PubMed, if you have conflicts of interest, the research gets cooked. We've seen that happen with female hormone therapy. We've seen it happen with vaccines and kids with what is it? I'm blanking.
Autism?
Autism, exactly. Sort of cooked research.
Well, now they're seeing autism connected to something different, though. It wasn't vaccines either. It was something when women are pregnant using something. God, I can't think of it now.
Alcohol? No. Okay.
No, it's not. But a lot happens when a woman, that we don't know.
Right.
I've never had kids, but I can't even imagine.
And I've been around long enough that I've seen pharmaceuticals come and go as well. They study them.
You bet.
And then they take them right back off. And they cook that data.
So here's what I just learned, and why probably pharmaceuticals are going down, is check this out. The chemist gets paid a bonus. This is before your first clinical trial. I can't remember. It's the very first, when we're talking about the molecules, okay? They're putting molecules together to get a certain effect or whatever. They get paid a bonus on how many they can get to that point or something, not how great they work. So, of course, chemists are just throwing crap together, hoping it sticks, and then $1 billion, $2 billion, $3 billion later, oh, it doesn't work.
Right.
So can you believe that? I can't even believe bonus is tied to anything like that. That is ludicrous. But anyway, we're running out of time, you guys, and I just wanted to talk. I'm sorry, you guys, but Mark, thank you so much for coming in. But I wanted to talk about a few minutes about my sponsors. Blue Sage Microbes, I encourage you to get on their website, learn more about it if you are a grower. I am hearing just the most amazing feedback about their microbes. They actually take a sample of your soil and, basically tell you what you're missing. And I think the big problem with soils are they're not consistent, which, as you can imagine, they said the list of microbes and boron and all the other stuff is just completely crazy different from one bag to another. So, and as you know, people are like, well, I don't understand. I didn't change anything. Well, the stuff that you can't change obviously is not consistent. Then I'd like to talk about the Incredibles, or Medically Correct. They do chocolate bars, and they actually just came out with a brand new, can we see this? Chocolate bar called Peach Dream. Peach Dream. Oh my God. It is absolutely outstanding.
Is it chocolate and peach or just peach?
I'm pretty sure it's chocolate. Yeah, there's chocolate, milk chocolate. But I want to point out too that Medically Correct, I believe, and I could be wrong, but it is the only edible company that has nutritional facts. Did you know that? So edible companies are not mandated to have nutritional facts. They will be mandated for certain things on the label, but they went above and beyond and did nutritional facts. So thank you for that. It's also a divided, if you will, candy bar, so you can dose it very properly, and they test everything as well. And this happens to be a 100 milligram bar. So check them out, Incredibles.
So you know what I used to tell? I would have patients who would say, this dose is too much for me, but I just can't stop eating it. It's so good. It's like, well, then buy a second candy bar.
Right.
And
that is a problem.
Yeah. And then have something else there.
It's true. Have some broccoli.
And do you know that dark chocolate, you probably do know this, dark chocolate, marijuana, white wine all stimulate the neurotransmitter anandamide.
I did not know that.
In the brain.
Dark
Endocannabinoids.
chocolate,
Dark
cannabis, and red wine.
Exactly.
And is that the tannins, obviously, in the red wine? And
I
maybe
don't know
the terpenes in the
it could
cannabis?
be. It could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Anandamide.
We should look up
the
that,
joy
Jill.
molecule.
It is, yes. It also doesn't have something to do with Alzheimer's too, because I know that one of the studies we didn't talk about.
Anyway, there's some
Anyways.
common threads throughout the point of cannabis and
We
other
didn't even get to
things.
the endocannabinoid system, so
We can do that next week. So then
Maybe
I'd like to talk about
tomorrow.
Cannapunch. Cannapunch is an amazing drink, and I have to say that have you had Cannapunch? Okay, it is not only delicious. I mean, phenomenal, like black cherry, pineapple, mango, but how you feel on it is different than other cannabis products. I don't know if it's how they do their extraction. I don't know, but it is fantastic, and it's great because you need a tiny little bit. Then I'd like to talk about Avita. Avita is an amazing dispensary. They only are carrying products that do not contain butane. Whether that's good or bad, I'm not judging, but Avita's products, all the edibles they carry and all the oil and all the vaporizer cartridges and everything is butane free. They have amazing vaporizers too, personal vaporizers. I have tried all the vapes out there, and listen, it's scary. A lot of them are burning plastic or burning filament, or it's just not right. You've got to be very careful about those personal vapes. So I would look to Avita for that. They also carry their own CO2 oil in those. Then I'd like to talk about the farm. And similar to Avita, the farm also makes their own CO2 oil. It's in Boulder. And they carry a lot of personal vapes. And also they have some, a line of CBD products that I know she made into oil. So if you're looking for some high CBD CO2 oil, you can find that at the farm in Boulder. And then Dixie Elixir, of course, I've had, their scientists on. I've had Christy Lunsford talk about the topicals. Dixie just has all around great products with whatever you're looking for. If you're looking for higher CBD, if you're looking for higher THC, if you're looking for a drink, if you're looking for a truffle, their truffle did win I think second on the Cannabis Cup, and they won on the Hemp Connoisseur, I think. But anyway, I've tried their truffles side by side, and medicated, non-medicated, they both are fantastic. And then last but not least, actually not last and not least, is Greenworks. Now, something I want to say very exciting. Greenworks is a dispensary here. They have 3 dispensaries. Do you know they are giving out R4 seeds at the Cannabis Cup? Okay, R4 is the highest ratio of CBD to THC that we've tested, and they've won some awards on it. They are awesome, and they are giving out free R4 seeds. So listen, if you don't have tickets, and get your friends to pick up some R4 seeds for any relatives or family or anyone that needs high CBD strains, because R4 is one of the best ones out there. Now, last but not least is Canisure. We just added them to our lineup. It is an insurance company, and let me tell you what, I learned a lot about this company. I just was in Boston, and Patrick, who's the owner, him and his family have been in insurance for, God, I want to say 20, 25 years. And he was talking to me about how so many people don't understand that have typical insurance, that, oh yeah, those insurance companies will sign you up, and then if something happens, they drop you. They don't pay out the claim. So I am urging all of you out there in the industry that have businesses that need insurance, please reach out to Canisure, CANNASSURE.com, and reach out to them. to talk to them about insurance because, listen, it's hard enough in this industry. If something happens to you and you're not covered, you're pretty much over.
They also have crop insurance and product liability insurance, which is important. We haven't seen any lawsuits here for product liability, but that's a huge thing as a business owner.
Yes, it is. It absolutely is. And listen, he just isn't a fly-by-night company that jumped on the gravy train.
No, they're from Cleveland, Ohio.
They are from Cleveland, Ohio, and he is a fantastic guy. I've only heard a wonderful service. So if you're in this industry, you are crazy if you're not picking up some Canisher insurance.
I have to do the 3 questions.
All right, let's do the 3 questions.
All right, guys, here's our final questions. Remember, we need all right answers. First one's email to jennifer@canlabs.com. Go to iCannabis Radio Facebook page and check the events. So our last 3 questions. Although we won't stop this. We'll start giving away different stuff. Maybe not as fun. We're never going to be able to follow this up with a sweatshirt.
Oh, yeah, we have swag.
No, I know, but
you know what?
Our first prizes.
Our first prize. That's the only prize you want. No, I'm kidding. No, we have a lot of swag from a lot of other great companies that are going to give us some, some stickers and stuff like that. So please enter, and you never know what could show up at your door.
Anyways, last 3 questions. Lester Grinspoon, MD, introduced what treatment into the field of bipolar studies?
Nice.
2.
Damn.
How long ago was the use of medicinal cannabis first recorded?
Cannabis?
Cannabis.
Ow. Sorry. Say that again.
Cannabis. Cannabis. When was it first recorded, published, written down?
Okay.
And then 3. Who was the first Western physician to introduce cannabis medicine to the United States?
All right. Read those one more time.
Lester Grinspoon, MD. I like saying it like that.
I know you
introduced what treatment into the field of bipolar studies? 2. How long ago was the use of medical cannabis first recorded? 3. Who was the first Western physician to introduce cannabis medicine to the United States?
Wow, Jill. Those are pretty tough. I mean, I think I'm going to have to re-listen to the show.
Well, you can't win.
No, I can't win. But anyway... So the first person to email those, again, my name is spelled Gennifer, Jennifer at canlabs.com, CANNLABS. Oh my God, we're so excited. You'll be on our show next Monday. And listen, if you want to hear about a topic here, and, it may not be all science, but you're just curious, or you heard misinformation or anything, please reach out to us. We would love to give you what you want on this show. That's what we're here for. We're here to enlighten you and educate you on the topic of cannabis. If you have any questions, please send them in either to iCannabisRadio.com or to me or to Jill. Just kidding. Jill won't give you her information.
No, but I'll check the questions.
I'm just kidding.
I just don't need any more email.
You can't spell her name.
Yeah, I know.
If you can spell my name, you can email me.
Jill Lamoureux. Good luck with that one. All right. Are we time to wrap up? All right. Well, thank you so much for another great show. Mark, thanks for coming in.
Thanks for letting me invite myself back.
Honey,
it's fun.
Sam, thanks for being silent over there.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right. Until next time.
Oh, we got real silent.
Have a great day.
There.